Papa Swoleo's here. Papa Swoleo looking sexy. How sexy do I look?
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Yeah? Yeah. Swole rave. I like it. You like the look? We're doing the whole show like this. Papa Swoleo. The fucking coffee's kicking in. That's the coffee. That ain't no shrooms. Psychedelic Games. Welcome everyone. What's going on? Episode 473 of the Daily Sleazy. Remember, live every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. If it's your first Swole, every day at 12. Also, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can check out Swolenormous Audio. Got lots of awesome content on Swolenormous Audio. So you can catch everything, doing some throwback shows, doing some audio clips. So Swolenormous Audio is the new ish. If you haven't checked that out on Apple, on Google, and also on Anchor. So check out Apple Podcasts. It's lit. It's lit. I got the SoundCloud and iTunes. I also have another podcast that I've been kicking off with a lot of classics, a lot of throwback episodes, and a lot of new content. So let's get started. Everyone together, ready? Let's get this fucking party rolling. Welcome to the Sleazy. Gonna kick this off now. Welcome to episode 473. Live on Facebook, the most muscular gamecast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. So get the flex on. The gains, the sick fucking hands. Welcome to the Gain Train. Welcome to 473, and welcome to the Daily Swole. I'm your host, Papa Swolenormous. Shh, don't tell anyone. Naughty words on this show. Explicit. Today's episode is going to be awesome. So a couple things are going to be super important this week. So let me just give you the little rundown this week. Yes, there's another workshop, as always, dropping fucking nukes in premium on the weekly. In this workshop, on Thursday, it is all about movement assessments. So this week, we're going to be talking a lot about movement assessments, how you should be moving and how you should get yourself in motion and how you can fix things like chronic pain, how you can fix things like weaker body parts, how you can fix things as simple and as relatable as I'm trying to work my chest, but I feel it more in my shoulders. I'm trying to do a shoulder press, but I feel it more in my triceps. A lot of you are doing exercises and you're not feeling it. And float some hearts and float some comments. Are you doing exercises where you don't feel the muscle where you want to feel it? Are you having trouble isolating certain muscle groups? And that's very common. It's very common to do exercises where you don't feel what you're trying to hit. I mean, if you're going for chest, don't you want to feel it in your chest? Don't you want to feel it in your chest muscles? You don't want to feel it in your shoulders. You don't want to feel that shit in your triceps. You want to feel it in your chest. Or doing an ab exercise and you don't feel it where you want to feel it. Or doing a leg exercise and feeling it too much in your hamstrings or your quads and not your glutes, and you're trying to build up that sexy peach. I get it. It's a problem. It's a common problem, and this is everyone's problem. This is everyone's issue, and that's what this episode is called. This is everyone's problem. This is everyone's problem. And the reason why it's everyone's problem is because it's society's problem. It's the way we live our life. It's the way we go through our daily. It's the way we go through our routine. It's where we put the priority. So if you have a priority, you're going to do what? You're going to prioritize it. Yes, you're going to prioritize it. You're going to put it as number one. Now you're going to have a few things that are at the top of your list, right? You're going to have a few things that are number one, a few things that are most important in your life, a few things that are going to be, okay, this needs to get done before this needs to get done. I get it. You're going to need to feed your family, make money, go to the gym before you feed your cat. Like there's certain things that you're going to do first. Certain things you're going to do first. Certain things that take a number one, always. You're going to feed your kids before you feed yourself. You're going to mow the lawn after you feed your children. You probably mow the lawn after you work out or something, like things that are pending, right? You're going to go to work because you need to go to work to make money so you can buy food, so you can feed people. You got priorities, okay? So when we have that, I have problems, I got problems, you have problems, everyone has problems. My problems is just excessive muscle gain. I can't stop. I'm gonna bust through the fucking roof. Ooh. That's my problem. But not everyone's problem is the same. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but I have other problems too. Everyone has problems, okay? So you have problems. Everyone watching, all the people that are watching now, if you're watching for the first time, you have a problem, okay? You have multiple problems. Life is full of problems, and the fact of the matter is these problems are never going to go away. They're never going to go away. You're supposed to have problems. You're supposed to have conflict. You're supposed to have challenges. It's called life. It's never going to change. It's never going to change. A life without problems is boring. It's just, you're never going to have any excitement. There's never going to be anything going on. If everything was perfect and everything was all rosy and everything was fine, it would be very, very boring. We don't think so. We're like, oh, too many problems. But there's always kinds of problems. Whether you have money, whether you don't have money, whether you are in shape, whether you aren't in shape, whether you have abs or don't have abs, you have problems. You're going to have problems, right? So everyone's going to have problems no matter what. Hey, doing cardio. Why are you doing cardio, Eric? Why are you doing? I'm just joking. Everyone's going to have problems. Every single person is going to have problems. So how do we overcome those problems? Well, we work to solve them. We work to solve them. We work to solve them one at a time, and we go based off priorities. So what we're going to go over today and these next couple episodes are going to segment into Thursday's premium workshop. So if you're not a member of my premium group, I highly recommend it because the workshop on Thursday is going to be awesome. Last week, and those of you that are already members, we did the elimination diet. So we talked about exactly the foods you should be cutting out to determine what is right for you in terms of diet, like what's specific and customizable for you. This is the same concept with fitness, okay? This Thursday's workshop on assessments is gonna be the same concept of how to customize your fitness routine, how to understand which muscles you need to work on the most for you, how to understand, first off, where to start, which muscles need the most attention, what approach is going to make the most sense in your training, and then you customize your workouts and you customize your training, and it makes you feel better, it makes you stronger, it makes you recover faster. It's going to help you with all these different areas. And why is this everyone's problem? Because we all have problems. And let's get into this right now. And there are things that happen over the course of your life. There are things that happen over the course of your life, whether it's an injury or whether it's your job, where you do things that result in this. It results in repetition. Okay? You do things in repetition. Oh, I didn't rehearse it. You do things in all right, well, I fucked up there. Let me reverse the screen. Hey-o. All right. Papa Swolio. Party foul. So we do repetitions, okay? This is life. Life is full of repetitions. And what does repetition what words are similar to repetition, right? What's another big one? Routine. What's another one? Habit. These are all good words that go with repetition. Over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. So you have things that happen again, right? What are some things that you have habits for? In the comments, jump in. What are things that you habitually do? What are things that you do that are repetitive? I want you to list below, I want you to list things that you do physically that are repetitive, whether it's your job specifically, not just in general, what do you do that's physically repetitive over and over again every day? What are things that you do out of your routine just habitually every day? What are things that you do every day? What are things that you do in terms of reps? Like, what's something you always do? What's something you always do out of habit? What's something you always do out of repetition? Whether it's work, whether it's pleasure, daily, okay? So you have these things that occur all the time. They occur all the time. Repetitions all the time. Routines all the time. This is good in many cases, right? It creates systems. It creates reliability. It creates consistency. It's discipline. And it leads to a result. So if you're doing certain things, and it can lead to a good result or a bad result. You know, addictive habits that can be bad. We know what those are. Addictive habits that could be good. Going to the gym to a point. You could train too much. But there are good habits and there are bad habits. There are good repetitions and there are bad repetitions. Okay? Good and bad. So let's erase this and let's look at this a little bit differently. Let's look at repetition. And let's look at the good and the bad. Because you can have good reps, you could also have bad reps. So you can have a situation where you have a lot of good things happening. You have a lot of good habits. You brush your teeth, very good. You make your bed, oh, that's good. You know, there are things that are good or bad. I know, sometimes making your bed is bad because it eliminates the ability of the bacteria to die and be eradicated by the air. You ever read those things? Don't make your bed. Shh, I didn't say that. Good habits. Exercising regularly, eating good food, stretching, all those things. Bad could be drugs, alcohol, could be biting your nails, could be, you know, picking your butt, you know, scratching your butt in public. I mean, bad habits. Reaching overhead all the time if you're stocking shelves. I don't care. Bad habits, right? Bad repetitions. What they have in common is that you're doing them regularly, right? Is that they're daily. So they have a lot in common. Now, it's not, some things are good, but when they're done too much, it can get bad. Some things are bad always, and doing them more just makes it worse. Let's talk about physical activity. Let's talk about movement. Let's put this in terms of movement. Let's put this in terms of what we're going to be talking about in this week's workshop, because this is going to set it up huge. Let's talk about movement. Sitting in a chair. Miles just said it. Sitting in a chair, and someone else might have said it before. Okay? So let's talk about one of the major problems with our lives is movement or lack thereof. So when I talk about movement, I literally talk about movement. I literally talk about moving around. I love you too, Alex. Thanks for watching. I literally talk about moving around. I literally am talking about physical. And thank you so much for everything that's popping up. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. Share. Thank you so much for sharing the broadcast. It means a lot. Love it. And this is important. If you know someone, man, if you have a lot of friends that are at desk jobs, share this shit. If you have a lot of people that sit around all day on a couch watching TV, share this. Friends that are on a computer all the time, share this. This is like, right now, this is Share City, because people need to jump in here and understand that this is real. This is not an illness. This is a physical ailment that's going to translate into a lot of problems for the rest of all of our lives if we're not careful. And that's why I pride all this content on yoga, on movement, on mobility, on corrective. And corrective exercise only exists if there's shit to correct. We gotta fix it. We gotta correct things. There's a lot to correct. There's a lot to correct in our lives, trust me. So movement. What are some things that we do that are bad, movement-wise, or lack thereof? In the comments below. What are some things that you do that are bad movements all the time? All right? Sitting down. Using one arm all the time. Like if you're a mechanic, you're doing one arm all the time. So you have sitting, you got driving, which is different than sitting because you're using your arms too. So you got computer, even stuff like cell phones, like bending the neck to text, phones. What else we got? Let's say reaching overhead. Let's see, sitting, even standing. You know, it's funny, right? It's funny. It's like shit. It's like Papa Swole. You're just listing you're just listing everything a human does, and it's funny because I am. But when you look at this, it's not whether or not a human being sits. It's okay to sit. I sit too. Like, you're supposed to sit. It's function. You're supposed to stand. You know, we use phones. You're supposed to reach overhead. You're supposed to, well, I wouldn't say you're supposed to drive a car, but we're able to do all these things. We're able to. And the thing is, you should be able to do all these things. You should be able to do all these things. This is not like, oh, don't do these things. You should be able to do them. But it's when you do them all the time. It's when you have this and you add in what we talked about. When you add in that repetition, that's when it gets to be a problem. Float some hearts and float some thumbs, drop some comments. How many of you sit for more than 4 or 6 hours a day? More than 6 hours a day. Include time on the couch and at dinner. How many of you sit for more than 6 hours a day, honestly? How many of you use one arm dominantly throughout the day? Like one arm all the time. We all have a dominant arm, most of us, but how many of you just like use the same one over and over again for like your work or something, right? How many of you are driving or in a car? How many of you are in a car for more than an hour a day? How many of you are at a computer for more than an hour or 2 or 3 a day? How many of us are on our phones all the time? I am. How many of you are reaching overhead, stocking shelves and lifting things up and putting it away all the time? And how many of you are standing? Maybe you have a standing desk. Maybe you stand at a register. Maybe you work a front desk and you're standing a lot, right? So right now, drop below, what are your common habits? What of these do you do all the time? Several hours a day, a few hours or more. I want you to comment if you do any of these things for more than a couple hours a day, regularly. Drive a minimum of 4 hours a day. So, I mean, sit a lot here? Yeah. And if you don't know how long you're doing these things, I want you, once we sign off here, I want you to think about it. I want you to write it down. I want you to write it down and then come back and comment in the threads and calculate. I want you to really look at what you're doing on a regular basis. So why is this a problem, right? The title of this episode is This Is Everyone's Problem. So why is this everyone's problem? Well, I just explained why this is everyone's problem. I just explained why this is everyone's problem. Because we all do it. Because we all do it. This is what we all do. We all do this to one extent or another. Everyone is doing something here. Everyone is doing something here. You know, even as a plumber, Mark, even as a plumber, you're doing repetitive movements. You're underneath things, you're reaching up overhead. Like, you're using certain muscles a lot more than other ones. Cycling, you cycle 25 to 50 miles a day. You're hunched over on a bike for 25, 50 miles. You're in a poor position physically for that entire time. Cyclists have very poor posture. A lot of pressure in the back, a lot of pressure on the hips, a lot of pressure on the groin. And this is separate from enjoying what you do and needing to do it for money. This is separate. I'm not saying you can't do this. I'm not saying quit your job, stop doing what you love or whatever. But this is just the facts, right? You're doing things repetitively. This is what you do repetitively over and over again. So when you do something with repetition, it creates this. It creates a pattern. You create a pattern of movement, and it creates what I'm going to call here dominance. Okay? It creates dominance. It creates dominant muscles. It creates dominant movements. It creates dominant systems in the body. And this could be very, very dangerous. And I'm telling you straight up, this could be very, very dangerous because it creates an imbalance. After dominance, it's going to create, I know I'm getting close to the bottom. If you have dominance, it creates an imbalance. And if you have an imbalance, it leads to compensations. I need more room. I need more room. I'm going to do this, you know. Imbalance. You have an imbalance. It's going to create a compensation, which is going to lead to injury, which leads back to a pattern, a different pattern, because now you have an injury, you're moving differently, which changes movement, which creates more dominance, creates more imbalance. Just going around forever, forever. Pattern, movement, dominance, imbalance, compensation, injury, it sucks, it blows. Don't be one of these hoes. Don't do it. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Story of my lifting life. All right, well, there is something called the cumulative injury cycle. And this is probably what I didn't intend necessarily to recreate it, but this is nothing like, I'm not creating this. This is not like, oh, wow, Papa Swole made this up. This is just how the body works, okay? You have a pattern, which leads to a certain type of movement, which leads to a dominant movement, dominant muscles, imbalance. Then your body tries to adjust. Your body gets injured because it's not designed to adjust in that way. And then it has to create a new pattern and create a new movement, and then it just goes. Like my sciatic nerve. And here's the thing. The crazy part about all this is we go through our life feeling like, oh my God, I'm injured. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, I'm 50, just getting older. No, you're not old at 50. You have issues that you never fixed. You're not old at 50. You have pain because you have these things that you don't address. Whether you're 20 or whether you're 70, you have issues that you can address by exercising, by creating that balance, by changing your habit, which is going to change your pattern. And it's very simple. And yes, yoga helps. Yes, stretching and foam rolling helps. It all helps. Mobility training helps. It all helps. But the fact that you have this cycle, you have this vicious cycle that you're creating, but you're not breaking it. And mobility training, corrective exercise, yoga, all help break this wheel. Time to break the wheel, just like Daenerys Targaryen. You gotta break the fucking wheel. Game of Thrones fans, huh? What? You gotta break the wheel. You gotta break the pattern. So it comes down to this. Are you breaking the pattern? Are you breaking the pattern with your training? So here, you take out that link and all of a sudden, what do you have? It doesn't cycle through. It's not going to cycle through as well. You start changing things. You start making a difference. You start tweaking. But that takes proactive approach to fitness, right? It takes a proactive approach to fitness. And it doesn't happen overnight. As everything we talk about, it's not easy. It's not going to come, just because, hey, I'm trying to get in shape. I want to get healthier. Let me start a workout program. You don't just get it because you said something, right? You have to actually invest your time. You have to make a commitment mentally. You have to make that commitment that, okay, maybe I'm not going to try to get absolutely freaking swole and huge. I'm going to work on the foundation first. I'm going to make a difference with the base level of my body first. I'm going to approach my fitness differently. Because if you're someone that's suffering from injuries, and drop some comments below, are you someone that's suffering from injuries chronically? Do you have chronic injury? Do you have chronic pain? Are you struggling with things that are bothering you on a regular basis? Do you have some of these patterns? Do you have some of these patterns that are affecting your training? Are affecting your consistency? Or do you have pain flare-ups in your shoulder, in your back, in your knees that puts you out of training and sets you back? And fam, if you're having issues, but you're not changing what your approach is, it's going to keep on happening. You're going to keep having these repetitive patterns. You're going to keep having these things expose themselves. And it's never going to go away. It's just going to come back later. You're going to stop, the inflammation will go down, you come back and it'll return. But you have to address this. Plantar fasciitis, preventable. Chronic shoulder pain, very possibly preventable, or at least improvable. I'm not sitting here selling you snake oil saying, I'm going to take away all your pain, boom, abracadabra. That's not how it works. But you create your pain and your issues and your chronic inflammation as a result of having muscular imbalances, you correct those imbalances, you're going to see night and day difference. Piriformis apps, dude, we talk about piriformis, some foam rolling and some corrective exercise, and you can eliminate the issues with sciatic nerves, with piriformis tightness, with the deep external rotators of the hip. You can improve drastically chronic neck pain, migraines if they're muscularly related, from shoulder imbalances, from neck imbalances, from thoracic imbalances, from core instability. All these things that we've been going over the last several weeks in the premium workshops, the shoulder workshop, the corrective exercise workshop. Come on, you guys know the core training workshop that we did. These exercises that create that foundation now, this Thursday, is going to be a literal assessment workshop. How you can set up a camera, how you can record yourself or look in the mirror and see what you're doing and what your specific body needs to improve, and what exercise will directly target those areas and create more balance. It's a practice. It's not going to happen overnight, but if you're sitting down a lot, if you do repetitive movements all the time, if you have chronic pain, this is a no-brainer. So I encourage every single one of you that is not in my premium group, this is going to be fucking awesome. And those of you that are already members of Premium and have done the workshops, drop a couple comments below. I know it's fire. I know you enjoy it. But this Thursday is going to be really awesome. I really want to get deep into it. Link is in the description, premium.swolenormous.com. You could sign up today for the free trial. And also you get access immediately to all the previous workshops. Not to mention doing a lot of one-on-one calls with the premium community. So when you join, you get to sign up for a one-on-one call, a Swole call with me. I've been talking to a lot of you. Vince, we talked yesterday. The one-on-one conversations, the one-on-one calls are amazing. So I'm really loving getting more and more involved with the premium community. So always doing that. So yeah, tons of workshops, tons of videos, amazing community. You all are awesome, and it's just helping everything grow. And I love the attention and the appreciation for everything that we're doing here, on the Swole. So I just want to say thank you for those that are watching first time, those of you that are premium members, short time, long time, super, super cool. And Jessica, shoe inserts can help with plantar fasciitis, but that's just putting a Band-Aid on it. That's not correcting the core problem of plantar fasciitis. And that's one of the things that we're going to be going over on the movement assessment workshop on Thursday. So, if you have any kind of chronic inflammation is coming from something chronic. Chronic inflammation, chronic, that repetition. Chronic is repeated. Chronic, repetition, chronic. If you have chronic inflammation, it's coming from a chronic imbalance, a chronic dominance, a chronic compensation. And that's what we're going to address. And this is going to be like a multi-part series with movement assessments, with certain areas of the body assessment. So, this is going to be an ongoing thing, but now we're going to get to the root, and then all these exercises that we've been talking about in Premium with the core training, with the balance training, with the corrective exercise is going to directly relate to your newfound knowledge this Thursday when you start looking at your own personal movement and where to focus. So I highly recommend Premium workshop this Thursday. On movement assessments. It's going to be fucking fire. And of course, all the dailies leading up this whole week are going to be all movement assessment based. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. But we'll be dropping a lot more knowledge nukes this entire week. So join me here every day live at 12 noon Eastern time. Tomorrow for episode 474 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex. Biceps, live every day, 12 noon Eastern time, right here on Facebook. Catch me on YouTube and also SoundCloud and iTunes. You could type in Daily Swole. Just type in Swolenormous on iTunes, Google, anywhere. And you're actually going to see Swolenormous audio, where you can hear clips from one-on-one calls. You can hear clips from little audio snippets throughout the day. And you're going to catch these live episodes also on my Swolenormous audio channel. So type in Swolenormous on Apple Podcasts, leave a review, check it out. Subscribe. I think you're really going to love it. And also you're going to be getting some throwback episodes, some of my favorites from the old archives. So I'm going to be throwing them up randomly. But all the episodes are on SoundCloud. All of them are on iTunes. Just type in Swolenormous. You'll see Daily Swole. You'll see Swolenormous audio. And I hope you really enjoy. Plus I got some comedy on there. Some random Arnold stuff. Arnold singing songs. It's weird. It's weird. But check it out. I think you'll love it. And on Instagram, I'm going to be on Instagram stories today, giving you some behind the scenes. So peace, McGeese. Deuce Magoose. Got some premium calls right now. So love you all. Talk to some of you in a few minutes. And I'll see everyone tomorrow for episode 474. of the Swole. Oh, oh, oh. Later, guys.